Bees are fascinating animals. Raising honeybees can be challenging and intimidating, but very rewarding. I speak from experience when I tell you honeybees will make your gardening endeavors complete. Hi, I'm Amy, and welcome to my channel. I can tell you my beekeeping path has not been smooth, and I made a lot of mistakes when I started out. My first two hives were failures. One swarmed and just left me, and the other just died. There are many advantages to keeping bees. Honey, beeswax, and propolis are all products you can extract from the hive. Honeybees are great pollinators and honestly are just a joy to watch. There are some definite challenges. That cute little bee butt can sting you. Also, be cognizant of the fact that bees compete with native bee populations and encourage them as well. Bee supplies are not cheap, they are an investment. Finding a mentor is important. My friend Heather gave me sage advice and also did bee instruction for my organic agricultural interns. Find a local bee club. Your extension office or local gardening club may have a bee group. My extension agent, Lindy, put beehives at the extension office, which gave us all hands on skills. Bees can be picky about real estate locations. You will want to give some thought as to where you place your hive. Bees like to face the rising sun, so east. The morning sun warms up the bees so they will leave the hive and gather pollen. Southern facing hives are also good. And no, there should not be so many weeds around the hives. I obviously was vetoing mowing the field that year. Tips for hive location. Bees need sun and water just like plants, near water such as ponds or gently moving streams. Bees don't like marshlands or areas that may flood. Avoid the tops of hills that may be windy. Bees are getting more popular in cities, and many urban parks are supporting both domestic and wild bees. Urban areas may have regulations on keeping bees, such as how close to a property line the hive can be. You can put a screen in front of the hive entrance. Screens can be fencing or tall plants that encourage the bee to get up higher in flight so as not to run into people or pets. Talk to your neighbors to make sure they are good with bees. Your bees cannot be trained to stay on your property. An offer of honey goes a long way. Chemical pesticides are a no when it comes to bees. They are made to kill insects after all, but you also need to be careful with organic products. Read the labels carefully. Pollination is a big plus when it comes to keeping bees. I saw an increase in tree fruit when I had bees, as well as squashes and melons. Honeybees are great pollinators. However, they are not native bees and do compete with other species. If you just want increased pollination, you can encourage mason and bumblebee populations around your gardens. Know what flowering plants are near you. Before you set up your hives, do a plant audit. These could be wild plants such as maple and locust trees, clover and yards, asters, or dandelions. Your audit would also include your domestic garden plants such as fruit trees, summer squash, cucumbers, eggplants, and beans. These vegetables are all insect pollinated. What plants do you have growing? Do you have plants that flower at different times during the season, thus providing pollen from spring to fall? Look around you. What plants do your neighbors have? Are you near a field or park with native grasses? Lots of flowering plants are good for your bees. Remember when I said beekeeping can get expensive? The average minimum is around $400. To get started, you need a number of supplies. You can start with the basics, but you will need to purchase more supplies as you grow. Here's Jake working the bees at Fox Run. You may not need a full suit, but having a hat and gloves is necessary to protect yourself. At the minimum, you will need to buy a head covering or veil. Having angry bees swarming around your face is not fun. Full body suits have come down in price, and you can find less expensive ones for around $100. Obviously, you need a beehive. We use the classic Langstroth hive, but there are many other types. Be very careful if you buy used hives because they may contain pests from the last inhabitants. This is what mostly likely happened to me with my first hive. Hives come in a variety of prices depending on the size of the super and how many there are. Amazon has beginner kits that start around 135. That would be the very basics. I've also ordered supplies from Dadent, which is a good company with locations around the US. Here's Jake making smoke. A smoker is an essential tool. They provide an area to burn dry materials such as pine needles and wood chips. The smoke helps to calm the bees. A small smoker is fine to start out with. When you are working with the bees, you will be using the smoker. Not only does it protect you from aggressive bees, but it reduces the stress level of the bees. After all, we are invading their home. Frames are the section of the hive that gives the bees a place to hold the honeycomb or brood comb. It's also a good way to check on the bees and the health of the hive. Hives need checkups and regular maintenance to make sure they are healthy. You will want to periodically inspect your hives during the active season. Look close and you can see baby bees. I hope this content is helpful to you so far. Please boop that like button. Also, a big thank you to everyone that participates in the community tab and votes. In America, we raise the European honeybee, which is just one of over 20,000 known bee species. As a new beekeeper, you will want to purchase bees. That way, you know what you are getting and the process will be easier. Your local bee group will be able to recommend persons in your area who sell bees, or they may go in on a group order with a larger company. A honeybee package contains an inseminated queen, she's in her own container, and a screen caged of about 10,000 worker bees. My cat was totally fascinated by the buzzing sounds coming from inside the box. Honeybees have a social hierarchy system that benefits them as they work together. The queen is the only bee mating and laying eggs. She only leaves the hives to mate or to swarm. Worker bees are females that care for the young, forage, and make honey. Drones are males, and it is their job to mate with the queen, and if successful, they then die. Honey does not come instantly. Think of bees like perennials. You may get a harvest that second year, but your bees need time to grow and make honey. Excuse me. I need some local honey because my allergies are really bad this year. The average you can expect to harvest is about 50 pounds or 4.2 gallons of honey annually from a healthy hive in an area with abundant nectar. It helps to go out with an experienced honey farmer and participate in harvesting that first year. This way, you get an idea of how much honey you can take and how to deal with unhappy bees. They don't willingly give up the goods. Remember, your bees are alive during the winter. The bees make honey to feed themselves during cold weather. If you take too much honey, they can starve. Thankfully, your little worker bees will probably have honey to spare. However, it's important to learn how much they can spare. Bees are such a joy, and there are many products you can make. I have a great lip balm recipe on the website, which I will link below. Fun fact: did you know bees won't poop in the hive? Interested in raising livestock? Check out my Raising Chickens video next. Thanks for watching and have a fabulous day.